it's Khristina from Redefine Creative, and I am back with another project for the Wild Whisper design team. And so I have pulled out two photos that I'm going to work with today. And then I'm working out of, basically I'm just kind of flipping through and showing you what I have in mind there for supplies. And these are from two different Wild Whisper collections. The January kit, which is called More Adventures, and then the mini collection for February, which is called Classic Woodgrains. And so that wood grain that I'm using for my background is also from that February release. And so I'm just looking through my pattern papers trying to decide. I know that I want to take this cut file, and this is from the Cut Shoppe, and I know I want to back the letters with pattern paper. And so I was just kind of laying out and choosing which pattern papers I wanted to use to do that. And then I went ahead and took care of fussy cutting and kind of fitting all those pattern papers to the letters off screen. And then I'm just going to take some of this fun foam, and I really don't pay attention to what color I'm using, so it's purple today, and that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and use that fun foam to just create some dimension in this part of my title. And so I know that I want this word read to go kind of across the top portion of my layout, and I am going to add some other things to it. But then I have these two photos, and I've put them into the Project Life app and printed them at 3x4 size and then just cut them apart. So you print them on one 4x6 piece of photo paper, and then you can cut them apart. And so I have also gone to the More Adventures collection and pulled out this little wooden sign. And I really liked the idea of having this on this layout because I'm kind of talking about the fact that I love to read in all different genres and things. And so that I knew was going to be a great addition on this page. And while I was fussy cutting that, I also fussy cut that little phrase that says chase your story on kind of the yellowish, because I have some yellow up there in my R in my title word of read, and there's also some yellow on the cover of the book. I knew that I wanted to have a little bit of a pop of yellow, so that's going to come in really handy. And so I'm just kind of layering up how I want all these pattern papers to look underneath my photos. So with those two photos, I've taken the card pack that goes along with More Adventures. So for each collection, Wild Whispers, for the main collections, Wild Whispers has a 12x12 paper pack, and then they also have a 3x4 and 4x6 pocket page card pack. And so I'm using the cards from that card pack to create a bunch of layers over here behind my title. And then I decided that this kind of wooden sign is going to go up at the top, and it's going to tuck underneath that R in the beginning. But I feel like I need something to kind of go behind that as well as behind my photo. So that's where you see I've kind of added in these doilies in the background. And then I've taken a very thin border of black cardstock around my photos, and then I'm matting this particular photo with gray. So this is going to be the photo out of the two that kind of has more of an emphasis. And so this is just the cover of a book that I'm reading currently. So this is one of those pages that's for my personal album, just talking about my love of reading and the fact that that's how I often spend my time right before going to bed, is spending some time with a good book. And so this is just one that I am reading right now. And then the second photo is just a quote that's in like printed in the front of the book. And so both of those are going to kind of get layered up here together. And then you can see that I've added a bunch of those 4x6 and 3x4 cards kind of stacked up together behind all of that detail. And I'm going to put all of that on top of that larger doily. And then I'm going to carry that doily element over into my title with that smaller sized one. And in a second here, I'm going to kind of adjust all of these, and then I'm going to grab that little chase your story. And I know that I want that to sit in the white space beneath that quote from the second photo on the page. And so what I decided to do is I'm going to take some little Pop Dot dimensional adhesive, and I'm going to put that just around the very edges where these leaves kind of extend out of the wreath, so that there's glue in the middle. So the middle of that wreath where the quote is going to stay glued down to the page. But then those little leaves are going to have some dimension to them where they're going to stand up a little bit, just like the title stands up a little bit. And I really like that, how that adds just a little something extra. So there's always a way, even when you're just working with paper and pocket page cards, there's a lot of ways where you can add depth and dimension to create a really unique look. And it doesn't have to all be with, fancy packs of embellishments and things that are very, a little more expensive in terms of paper crafting supplies. So I am going to cut just the edge of that doily off because I do want to make sure that it's going to slide into my page protector the way I want it to. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this word read. And this is just going to be part of my title. I want my title itself to say, I often read past my bedtime. I had seen recently on Instagram somewhere, I had seen that phrase used, and I liked that idea, and I thought that really describes me pretty well. I will often get lost in a book and then realize it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And so that was a great way for me to document this kind of hobby or interest of mine outside of paper crafting. So my kids, when they're awake and around and they look through my albums and they see a lot of my paper crafting hobby, but they don't necessarily see as much of this part where I love to read all kinds of different books about all sorts of different topics. So it was important to me to kind of document my other interests that my kids might not quite have as much knowledge or interest in right now. So I did go ahead and add those black puffy sticker alphas to finish my title, along with a few black enamel dots just to add a little pop of that black color throughout my embellishment clusters. And that's basically going to do it for this layout. So I hope that you will take the time to think about scrapbooking some of your interests outside of paper crafting, and definitely stop by and check out these new collections from Wild Whisper Designs. Bye!